Hi, I'm Kristin, economist, and I'm a House of Color client. Like many people, I found House of Color online through Instagram, scrolling through before and afters, trying to self-diagnose what season I was, and I saw such a difference in the way that people not only looked, but the way they carried themselves after a House of Color appointment. Getting dressed at that point in my life felt a little bit like opening the closet and feeling a sense of both overwhelm and total disregard for what I put together. Well, I remember going to my stylist's house during COVID to get my colors done. I got it as a gift for my mom, the first Christmas that she was widowed at 62 without my dad around. And I remember thinking, I'm doing this for her. This is a nice thing I'm doing as an adult daughter to help her out. And I remember the experience of going in and sitting down and initially feeling a little uncomfortable to see myself with no makeup and a white drape and bare. I feel pretty vulnerable sitting here and looking at myself, and I don't even know that I can see all the differences that I'm hearing described to me. But when I watched my mom sit in the chair and I saw how different her features looked and how much more her personality came through in just the change in tone of the drapes, I was convinced. I thought, this is not something you can make up. This isn't over-exaggerated or hyped. I can tell a difference without anybody speaking a word or her telling me anything different. So in the weeks that followed my color appointment, I started buying anything I could find. I'm like, it's in moss, I want it. It's in coral, I gotta have it. And I realized that just because I know the right colors to look for doesn't mean that it still all goes together and doesn't mean that I still feel myself in it. I was born with microtia, which is a birth defect that impacted my right inner and outer ear. So by the time I was 16, I had had 19 surgeries and a ton of medical complications and ended up getting my right ear removed. The problem with that was, as an 18-year-old, I really wanted to wear earrings and I wanted to feel fashionable and I wanted to feel like I could still wear and rock the same jewelry and look that other people did. But I didn't have language to describe that until my House of Color stylist talked about this idea of points of interest and how it's not just about the clothes I wore or the shoes I had, it was about all the little extra details that I learned about in my style appointment that helped to take an outfit or a look and really elevate it to the next level. So it really helped me to see that I didn't have to cover up the fact that I was missing an ear or that I could only wear one earring. And I often tell people now that I actually find myself more and more appreciative of the style because it's the thing I come back to the most often. I know what colors I need now, but the style is what always makes it feel like it goes from being really bland or really standard to being specific and unique for me. The House of Color makeup was something I didn't really expect, honestly, to fall in love with as much as I did. I've always been somebody who's really interested in makeup. I thought I already had that part down. But the thing I've really enjoyed about it is every season I reach out to my stylist and say, hey, I'm ready for something a little bit brighter or a little bit more neutral. And I don't ever have to worry about going to a department store with really bad lighting and seeing something that looks good in that particular setting and then looks absolutely heinous when I get home. I had the stylist come in for my wardrobe edit, and she very quickly helped me realize that not only was I focusing too much on the browns and some of the autumn leaf colors, but I also was really focused only on my work attire. And two things she said that were really helpful to me were, number one, try to explore some of the more vibrant autumn colors, and number two, find ways to be able to incorporate a wider autumn palette in both your athleisure wear and in some of your formal wear. And so those two particular pieces of advice made things much easier for me to sort of streamline and think about what I needed. My stylist sent me a variety of links. I remember they were all perfectly formatted and they were all in different kinds of areas. I had, links to 6 jackets that would be great as a transitional coat to the winter. Or, I had 16 different links to both pants and dresses and skirts that I might use. And it was all so pointed and so specific because not only was it in my clothing personality and my style, but it was also in the color palette with some of those colors that are a little bit harder to fine tune or to see from someone like me who is just an observer and new as a client to the process. I think if somebody would have told me 4 years ago that my day-to-day life would be impacted by one 2-hour appointment in the middle of a January afternoon, I'd be like, that seems a little excessive or a little dramatic, but that really is true. I think now about how much House of Color has impacted not only the way I get ready in the morning, but the way I show up in the world. I think about how much more aligned I feel with who I am on the inside, and not only the values that I have, but the quirks I have and the personality I have and what's really important to me. All of that is reflected in the clothes I wear, in the color of the car I drive, in the water bottle I pick out from Target. Everything from the way that I'm planning a wedding to the way that I pick out dinner plates. And it sounds funny, but in a world that's constantly telling us to buy more and to live in excess, I've really been able to pare down and keep in my home and in my community only the things I really love. And that frees up so much more mental energy for me to spend building relationships and contributing to the causes and the communities that I care about.